Well, hello. Good morning, sunshines. Hey, let's make some old-fashioned butter pancakes. Let's start off with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Then you're going to add baking powder, sugar, and salt. And that's all of your dry ingredients. Okay, now we're going to add our baking powder. And it's going to be 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Here, we're adding 2 teaspoons of sugar and then 1 teaspoon of salt. From there, we'll mix it all up. Make sure you're mixing it well so that all those ingredients are mixed within your flour. Then take your bowl and sit it to the side. For this next part, you'll need 2.5 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 2 eggs beaten. And then we're going to mix it all together. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, from here is where we're going to start mixing in our wet ingredients. So we have 2.5 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of butter, which we'll need to melt because we're going to mix that in with the milk. So I'm gonna take about 30 seconds and nuke this in the microwave, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we have the butter melted and it's ready to go in the milk. But before I do that, I need to crack these eggs here because it's gonna go into that milk mixture that I showed you before. So I'm gonna take these 2 eggs and crack those open, get them in the bowl, like so, like that. Perfect. And then I'll just get a fork and just beat those up really, really good. Alrighty, that looks about right. Next steps. We're going to take these eggs, add them into the milk as well as the butter. So for this part, you're definitely going to need a whisk. I use a whisk because pancakes mixture can get a little lumpy when you're making it from scratch. So you want to have a whisk that is going to break up as many of those lumps and clumps that will start to form when you're mixing it. So I tend to use a whisk in this part. I mean, you can use a spoon if you want, but the whisk does a better job, in my opinion. So grab your whisk and get ready to mix it all together. All right, so we'll start with the eggs. So we'll pull those in first. And then we'll get to this butter here, pour that in. And then one more step. I like to use a little bit of vanilla in my pancakes. This is one that I use. You can use whatever you want, but we got this one from Jamaica when we went on a trip one time, and I just love the flavor that it gives. So you want to use about a teaspoon of this in your wet mixture. Alrighty, then mix all of that together using your little whisk. Mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it. Keep going until it kind of starts to look yellow. That way you know that all the ingredients have married each other and they're getting along. And from this point, we'll then add that wet mixture into the dry. The way that I do it, I put a little well in the middle. You don't have to do this, but I just feel like if you pour it on top, all the liquid just sits on top of the flour. So if you have a little place for the liquid to go, then it doesn't sit, and I feel like it mixes a little bit better. I don't pour the whole thing in at once. I just pour it till it looks like it's enough liquid, which leaves about, I don't know, half a cup of the milk mixture. And then I just start to mix it all together. Start slow from the top because I try not to make a mess. So this is the consistency after mixing for a while that you will want your pancakes to look like. And see, that whisk helps to get as many of the lumps out of the mix as you can. Put some air in it too so your pancakes are nice and fluffy. But one thing you also don't want to do is overmix because it'll make it tough. And don't use all the liquid if you don't need it. Done. Now cook them up. Let's go put this on the Blackstone. Alright, so we're putting the pancakes on there. I also have some sausage and bacon to go with the pancakes, but I put a little oil and then some butter on the griddle before I put my pancakes down. And then when I see them start to get fluffy and they bubble a little bit on the top, that's how I know when it's time to flip. Look at that. Beautiful brown buttery pancakes. It doesn't get any better than that. And I mean, if you want this color for your pancakes, you have to use butter. There's no getting around it. Ooh, baby, hot off the griddle. Put some butter on those bad boys and enjoy.